Indian skies have opened up, and as you can see in this picture behind me, that's a live projection of what Indian airspace actually looks like. Very different from what things looked like 2 months ago, and I'll show you that comparison in a moment. But this is Indian airspace as I bring you this broadcast. Many flights in the air. Indian skies have opened up for domestic flight operations after 60 days. The first flight from Delhi to Pune took off this morning at 4:45 a.m. Passengers across airports now are being screened at airport entry points. In Bengaluru, about 60 departures and 54 arrivals will be taking place by the end of the day. And a 14-day quarantine is a must for all passengers landing in Bengaluru. Mumbai airport is handling 50 flights in total, 25 incoming and 25 outgoing. The first flight from the Mumbai airport departed at 6:45 a.m. Passengers in Mumbai faced a lot of trouble, we're hearing, reaching the airport as there were very few cabs on the road. There was also confusion among passengers over the quarantine norms for Maharashtra. The resumption of services has been accompanied by a slew of cancellations. The Delhi airport saw more than 80 flights being cancelled, several passengers waiting for their flights. In Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai and other airports complained that their flights were cancelled without any prior notice.
It's been a really hectic day, and as we arrive at Terminal 3 Delhi, I can tell you one thing, that this particular flight of ours was about an hour late, but that apparently are the initial hiccups, teething problems that are really happening. If you see behind me, just like when we went from Delhi to Lucknow, everybody is wearing those shields. I got this kit which has a mask, it has sanitizer, it also has a face shield because I've all covered myself and I'm wearing these glasses and the mask, so I'm not wearing it. But yes, the airlines do give you this safety kit which you should use and keep yourself safe. Remember, as I told you, that the airlines are following certain protocols. Don't dispose of your gloves or your mask while you deboard the plane anywhere. Make sure that you put it in the biohazard bin inside the airport. There are several announcements that the crew members do make as far as taking safety precautions is concerned. You need to follow that to the T to ensure that because in the flight there is no sort of social distancing. As you can see, that people are just sitting next to each other. It's very important that you follow the guidelines to the T that have been stipulated by the Civil Aviation Ministry, and even the airlines are following it in full letter and spirit. This is Mosmi Singh getting you the special report to and fro from Delhi to Lucknow, only so that you are better prepared when you take that flight. Stay safe and stay healthy. This is Mosmi Singh in Delhi for India Today.
So that was India Today's Mosmi Singh, who managed to complete a flight, and she's also back from Lucknow to Delhi. You're going to be hearing about her experience in just a moment. But there were many unhappy passengers, and I want to address those first because it is the unhappy passengers whose grievances need to be addressed as the day rolls on. Here's a look at the complaints that poured in as passengers faced a lot of suspense, a lot of tension and a lot of cancellations owing to lack of clarity.
ये बहुत गलत हो रहा है, बहुत गलत हो रहा है। या कल मेरे पास मैसेज आया एयर इंडिया से कि फ्लाइट चल रही है, लेकिन अब नहीं चल रही है। अगर मुझे पहले ही बता दिया जाता, मैं पूरी रात में टैक्सी ऑटो कुछ भी मिल जाए ट्राई करती रही, मुझे नहीं मिला। फाइनली मेरे नेबर मुझे छोड़ने आए हैं।
अभी ऑनलाइन अभी भी दिखा रहे हैं ऑन टाइम ऐप में अभी भी दिखा रहे हैं, और अभी घर वालों ने ट्रैवल एजेंसी से बात करी है, वो कह रहे हैं फ्लाइट्स तो नॉर्मल है, ऑन टाइम है।
लेकिन अब ये यहाँ पर एयरपोर्ट आए तो आपको क्या कहा गया
कि कैंसिल है, फ्लाइट नहीं हो रही, कैंसिल है।
Yeah, my flight was confirmed when I reached it. They said when the flight had been cancelled. I didn't get any message or nothing information regarding the flight cancellation. Yesterday also, till we were taking booking and all, they did everything. Everything was going smoothly. Just now I reached there. They said when the flight have been cancelled and we don't know anything regarding this.
चेकिंग के लिए बुलाया, और जब बुलाने हम लोग एंट्री करने वाले हैं, तब सडनली उसने बोल दिया कि हम लोग का फ्लाइट कैंसिल हो गया।
कहाँ की फ्लाइट थी आपकी?
हम लोग का बागटुकड़ा का।
अच्छा, आपको पता नहीं चला?
हाँ जी, पता नहीं था मुझे ये इस बारे में ना तो हम लोग को मैसेज इन्फॉर्म कुछ भी नहीं आया था सर.
We just feel very bad that it is not looking like we're going from another country to country with so many e-passes, and it seems for this also pass. So it should be just more smooth for people living within India. You should not be made to feel unwelcome and think in different states. You belong to that state, and it's really not nice.
So lots of complaints from passengers, mostly owing to last-minute cancellations without any prior notice. But there were also many very happy passengers. Remember, lakhs of people across the country have been reunited with their loved ones, and these flights were their first chance to achieve that after 2 months of being stranded. Here are some happy messages on day one of flight operations.
Actually, I traveled from Kochi to Bangalore, and we booked the tickets. So after that only we came to know that we need the passes, and many rumors were spreading through social media and other through people and all those things. And I was so tensed, like to travel with my kid. She is only 5 years old, below 5 years old. So I was so tensed actually. So after completing my trip, I'm so happy that I landed here very safely.
In the plane, how did you make your sit? What was the social distancing like?
They were keeping it depends upon the occupancy of the flight actually. So in our flight, it was like 3 people were sitting. Then we had a space front and back. Then they were making to sit other 3. We were wearing the gloves, face mask, everything we were wearing, and proper sanitization they were doing, and through the journey also they were doing in the middle they were doing the sanitization and everything. So it was personally I am happy to be back with all the safety measures.
There was enough social distancing, or maybe because 55 flights cancel हो गई थी, so there was enough space in the waiting area. तो वहाँ पे तो सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग मेंटेन था, और परहैप्स मेरी पहली फ्लाइट में था, तो दैट्स व्हाई इट वाज सैनिटाइज्ड एज वेल. आई कांट रियली कमेंट आगे कैसा होगा जब भीड़ बढ़ जाएगी, बट अभी तो सही था.
माय एक्सपीरियंस दिस वाज वेरी गुड along with Indigo and government facility, whatever the social distancing has been maintained, that is for our benefit only. And I request all of you, all the citizens of India, that they should follow the rules and regulations provided by the government.
I feel privileged to be on one of the first air flights to go back to my hometown, Qatar. And so I would like to thank Vistara and the government of India for helping us with this.
Yeah, the process was very good, very smooth, right from Delhi when we boarded. There were less crowds. So it was very smooth in a way that the check-in and everything, and they gave us face shields also. And I too had sanitizers and all. And here also they have made very good arrangements in terms of setting up a desk and counter for getting e-pass, and it was not crowded. They were very helpful in a way and accommodative to get the pass and help us in understanding how we can book taxis. Since Ola and Uber are not functioning, they have their own setup for arranging cabs.
And were you stamped with ink as well?
Yeah, so I have to stay at home for 14 days and tell them in case I get any symptoms.
2 महीने बाद ये फ्लाइट चल रही है, तो कोई नर्वसनेस थी आपको?
देखो, नर्वसनेस तो थी, क्योंकि मुंबई में जितना बुरा हाल था, तो ऐसा था कि जल्दी से जल्दी घर पहुंचना है, क्योंकि वहाँ केसेस डेली इतने बढ़ रहे हैं, और इस वजह से जल्दी से. और पहले तो कल रात को भी मैसेज आया कि फ़्लाइट कैंसिल हो गई है, और लेकिन फिर दोबारा मैसेज आया कि फ़्लाइट चली है. मतलब बहुत ही नर्वस थी कि कैसे हम घर पहुँचेंगे. शुक्र है लेकिन पहुँच गए फाइनली. एयरपोर्ट पे मुंबई में भी बहुत अच्छा इंतज़ाम है. हर जगह स्क्रीनिंग हो रही है, सैनिटाइजेशन हो रहा है, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग हो रहा है. मतलब जितना पॉसिबल है वो हर इंतजाम कर रखे हैं उन्होंने, और चंडीगढ़ एयरपोर्ट पे भी अच्छे इंतजाम है.
So now you will have to be in home quarantine for 14 days.
Yes.
Which is mandatory.
Yes,
so
yes.
How will you do it?
Yes, we done. My family is prepared. They are happy that I should. मतलब 3 महीने बाद उनके पास आ रहे हैं, तो they are happy. They are also prepared my room as well. So there is no issue in that.
So आपने you have a separate room there. You will be quarantined there.
Yes. I have been quarantined because I have a kid, so I have to take some much more precaution.
Mosmi Singh is India Today's reporter who has just been on one of those first flights. She has travelled to Lucknow, and we'll put those images on your screen in a moment. And she has also travelled back. You've seen her detailed first-hand experience of what it was actually like. Mosmi, you've got that unique position of having seen it firsthand, you know, what it was like. Was it completely smooth for you, Mosmi?
I can tell you, Shiv, that it was fairly smooth for us as far as going from Delhi to Lucknow is concerned. And specifically at the T3, things seem to be a bit sorted out. Yes, there were hiccups at the Lucknow airport because the government app of Uttar Pradesh government, the travelers were facing certain problems to download that. But you know, even right now, as I've arrived at T3, there were announcements, particular new announcements that were being made in the plane before we deboarded. And I think that this is particularly a problem that you see right behind me. There was an announcement that all your gloves and masks and your shields need to be disposed of in a biohazard bin. But here you can see, now this is really, really concerning because the loopholes need to be plugged in, the precautions need to be more stringent. You can see these shields worn by passengers have just been thrown around in this bin because apparently there was no bin as we came out.
Yes.
So no biohazard bin that is meant for disposal of gloves and masks and so forth and so on. So that's an area of concern. But as I show you these pictures, you can see that passengers coming to and fro, that is still on, the process is still on, and perhaps these are teething troubles. But as far as precautions are concerned, there's absolutely no chance that the authorities can make any lapses on that count, Shiv.
Okay, thanks very much, Mosmi, for getting us the latest on that. We're about to play out your ground report as well. Before I go to my other reporters, you know, I just want to show you a visual viewer that gives you a sense of how things have changed in just 2 months. Take a look at the two images on your screen right now. I'm going to show you first what Indian airspace looked like on March the 25th when the lockdown began. There were no domestic flights happening. And here on your screen in just a moment is what airspace in the country looked like on March the 25th. That's what it looked like. Very few flights, some cargo flights, nothing much really happening. Now let's cut you forward 60 days to May the 25th, and that's what Indian airspace looks like. Not as crowded as it usually is. This is about 1/3 the density. But as you can see, a very happy change. There are flights in the air, all those little yellow dots representative of one domestic flight. So these images from Flight Radar capturing the return of flight in real time. Okay, Vidya is joining me from Mumbai. Shalini is joining me from Chennai. I'm going to play out for you Mosmi's report. She's just landed. You saw her reporting from the airport. We're going to play out her report from that flight in just a moment. Shalini, coming to you. Before Shalini, let me go across to Vidya. Vidya, lots of cancellations, lots of grievances for passengers in Mumbai. Many, flights did not take off. Many cancellations happened there as well. Continuing suspense over quarantine of outbound and inbound passengers. Is there more clarity? Will tomorrow be better, Vidya?
यहाँ पर एयरलाइन ठीक से बात नहीं कर रही है. क्या हो रहा है? 24 घंटे तकरीबन एयरपोर्ट पे गुजारे हैं इस वजह से कि एयरपोर्ट उनको गुवाहाटी जाना है और वो नहीं जा पा रहे हैं. कैमरामैन प्रकाश के साथ विद्या, मुंबई, आज तक.
Okay, apologies for that. Let me go across to Shalini first. I'll go back to Vidya in just a moment. Shalini, what has the experience been like in Chennai? Lots of cancellations, strictly imposed quarantine norms. What's the scene in Chennai? It usually is one of the busiest airports.
Well, Shiv, this is the scene in Chennai right now. As you can see, passengers all maintaining that social distance. The counters that are selling tickets have come outside the airport. So people collect their tickets from here. Then their body temperature is checked and then they stand in line to enter the airport. Everything is done outside so that people don't have to go inside and queue up and there's no chaos. Right now, everything looks peaceful, Shiv, but in the morning there was utter chaos here, the initial hiccups, because flights were getting cancelled. There was a flight to Delhi which got cancelled. There were patients, senior citizens and students also who were stranded at the airport and didn't know what to do. This gentleman, I was speaking to him a while earlier, he's come from Salem. So usually he does not have to pay the cab fare from Salem to Chennai. This time he did. So if I can get in a word from you, you came in from Salem to Chennai, you're going to Chandigarh. What are the precautions that you have taken for your travel?
Ma'am, we have to get an e-pass for that also. I have to get a permission from my dean also to get from here. And my flight also, the Salem from Chennai, my flight was there, but it got cancelled at the last moment, so I have to book a cab for that. So that also, the cab booking was last minute booking for me.
How expensive was that?
The flight was only 2,000, but cab booking cost me 9,000 for that.
And usually do you pay for cab from Salem to Chennai or do you pay?
I used to come by public transport only, but since Corona is there, I have to book a cab for that.
Well, Shiv, as you can see, this also is an area of concern for people coming in from Salem because they paid for the entire cab fare to Chennai. In the morning, there was a lady who came in from Trichy by cab. It's around 5 hours. You take in a private taxi, you come all the way here, and you hear that your flight was cancelled. So there were a lot of people who were very upset, who were very angry because they didn't even get that message from the airlines in the morning. And in the morning, the airline staff was clueless as well over here. But through the day, there have been some cancellations, especially flights coming in from Mumbai and Pune. And it was also directed that there would be minimum flights coming in from Maharashtra and Gujarat because of the number of incidents in those two states. However, for today, the first day, we have seen around 16 arrivals in Chennai, 19 departures from Chennai. And as you can see, there's a no-touch system happening where there's a transparent partition and passengers will be placing their documents on the partition, and of course, that's how they will be identified. It just makes the process easier because then no one's coming in touch with the passenger over here. Airlines also giving them shields inside is what we're hearing, Shiv. And of course, on arrival, a compulsory 14-day quarantine.
Compulsory 14-day quarantine for all inbound passengers in Chennai, making it very difficult for people to plan travel, especially if it's business travel. You can imagine how long 2 weeks is. India Today's Mosmi Singh. Shalini, thank you very much. India Today's Mosmi Singh, like I said, boarded that first flight from Delhi to Lucknow, and she brings you all the procedures firsthand. Watch this very, very carefully. You can pick up some tips for when you fly.
It's a big day today as domestic flights open for passengers. We're at T3 terminal and we'll be boarding that flight to Lucknow. You can see I've worn my gloves, masks, glasses. This is all compulsory. Remember, your Arogya Setu app is compulsory to travel. And here the administration and the authorities are practicing new social distancing measures. You can see the security officers here, the CISF personnel are behind the shield. An unprecedented picture that you see at the airports, even as 383 routes will be open in Delhi. Almost 390 flights will be operating to and fro, and the Civil Aviation Ministry has capped the tickets from 2,000 to 18,000 approximately. So we'll get you a real ground report of what precautions you should actually follow as we board the flight from Delhi to Lucknow. When we came in through the security check, they checked whether we had a boarding pass, they checked whether we had our Arogya Setu app, and after checking ID, they let us in. Then we had to sanitize, and then we went to the Indigo staff, who asked us whether we had an e-boarding pass as well as a baggage tag. You can only get one bag. If you look at it, I have only one bag. Only one bag you can carry with you. Clearly you can see that people are sitting, keeping the social distancing in mind, not very close. And this is a very, very different scene that I am seeing. My first-hand experience as far as the airport is concerned. The rush is very, very, very less. It's a silent airport, but much more quieter, you know, that mixing around, people conversing, drinking together, coffee, chai. The hullabaloo is not there.
The experience of boarding the aircraft is hassle-free. Passengers are given headgears to avoid face-to-face contact.
All the airlines were told to carry out sanitization exercises here. Passengers actually all said, and many of them perhaps also cribbing about the fact that they are sitting next to people and no real social distancing is being followed. That is a grey area, though I have no passenger next to me, but you can see that here also there are passengers in alternate seats, but if the airlines is running full, the Civil Aviation Ministry has given them permission because it's not economical, as the Civil Aviation Department is the worst hit as far as the COVID crisis is concerned, and that's one reason you see that unprecedented measures have been taken at the airport to ensure that the passengers traveling are safe. So you can hear that the air hostess here announcing that the first 2 rows will actually vacate and the back 2 rows will first vacate, and then you will have one by one people emptying their seats. Everybody will not stand up together. This is very rare that you see that even after the plane has actually stopped, all passengers sitting in their seats. Here you can see as the first 2 rows are vacated, then after that the rest of the rows will be vacated, and we'll try and get a sense from the passengers. But these are the Corona warriors who are actually putting everything at stake, their family, their safety, and ensuring that the passengers also follow proper norms. If you look at the overhead baggage, there is not much of a pile-up because usually you see there is a lot of crowding, but since all passengers have been allotted just 1 baggage per passenger. Sir, you're reaching Lucknow. Were you worried about your safety, or are you satisfied? Yeah, I was worried. So worried? As domestic flights open up, these are the Corona warriors.
Indian skies have opened up for domestic passenger services from Monday after a gap of nearly 2 months. It's safe to say the freedom to fly has come with a new normal, and it is nothing like we have ever experienced before. With Mausami Singh, Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, after 2 months, imagine it's actually been that long. Domestic passenger flights, as you can see, have resumed, and we're getting you the closest look at what it's like to get back in the air. But there is huge confusion. If you've been a flyer today or a person who's booked tickets, you know what I'm talking about. Quarantine rules that differ across every single state. The imposition of separate quarantine rules by different states, which are at odds with each other, has triggered one of the biggest lists of complaints among flyers. So let me show you what it actually looks like right now. Let's look at the quarantine norms as best as we can make sense of them at this point of time. Let's put a map up on the screen and we'll try and break down for you what the quarantine norms are right now. In Kerala, all passengers, all incoming passengers have to undergo 14-day home quarantine. Short stay flyers for business or work don't need to be quarantined. In Karnataka, inbound passengers from the worst hit states have a mandatory 7-day institutional quarantine and a 7-day home quarantine. And this includes flyers from places like Delhi, Maharashtra and others. Flyers from other states, 14-day home quarantine, and short stay flyers to Bengaluru who are COVID-19 negative, they must have that report. In Tamil Nadu, 14-day home quarantine is mandatory for everyone. Meanwhile, in Delhi, no mandatory quarantine required for any inbound passengers, but there will be checks and balances once you arrive. In the state of Punjab, meanwhile, 14-day home quarantine mandatory for all incoming passengers. In Jammu and Kashmir, all incoming passengers have to have a COVID-19 negative test and an administrative quarantine will be imposed. In Mamta's West Bengal, flights begin not today but on the 28th of May because of Cyclone Amphan relief. 14-day home quarantine for flyers when flights resume 3 days from now. Vidya and Mausami are back with me from Mumbai and Delhi. Vidya, coming to you first. the biggest suspense has been quarantine norms in Maharashtra. Are those quarantine norms now clear? What happens to passengers landing in Mumbai, Vidya?
Well, home quarantine is something that, the Maharashtra government has been talking about. In fact, they have been clearly saying that since we have been seeing that there are number of passengers and these number of passengers will keep increasing day by day. So the rules that have been formulated earlier will stay. But as you can see, Shiv, the kind of ground reality here is that there are many harrowed passengers here. Just like in other airports that we have seen, there are passengers who have nearly spent 18 to 20 hours at this particular airport and are still waiting for their flight because either their flights got cancelled and have also been facing a whole lot of problem when they come to the airport. I was speaking to this lady just now and she said that how she has travelled just from Jogeshwari to here. On a normal day to the airport would have taken around 100 or 150 bucks, but today she was fleeced by almost 700 rupees one way by the auto rickshaw driver who agreed to ply her and get her here to the airport. So these are the kind of stories that are really coming out of airport where people are extremely harrowed after having spent a whole lot of time being under the lockdown at someone else's plate, not really at their own home, and really want.
Mosmi is with us from Delhi. Mosmi, what was your experience as far as quarantine norms are concerned? Was there confusion? Were there lots of questions and queries, from fellow passengers? What was the buzz you were picking up about quarantine? People landing in Delhi don't need to be quarantined, but was there buzz about other places, anxiety?
Right, Shiv, in Lucknow it's different, you need to be home quarantined. Even as I was stepping out, because I took a flight back, he said that if you step out of the premises of the airport, then you need to be in home quarantine. And then naturally the passengers, they are anxious because many of them have been stuck without their family and their loved ones. Many were youngsters and, many were like the entire family was stuck for 2 months in Ahmedabad. And they were absolutely restless to get back to their family. And they had to follow the protocols, the measures, which was taking a lot of time.
Yes.
And they had children who were impatient. So harrowing time for passengers. As far as the nitty-gritty is downloading of apps is concerned, I think that the government would do well to have a consolidated app. You already have an Arogya Setu app for various state governments. It just gets very tedious for passengers who are mentally fatigued, Shiv.
There's a lot of mental fatigue, and this is just day one. There is a hope that things will actually get better from day 2 onwards. Hopefully there will be lots of lessons, better coordination, timely information about flight cancellations, better cooperation between states of passing on information to the passengers instead of bickering, as little last minute changes as possible. That's what passengers want, but it has been a very mixed bag. Thank you, Mosmi and Vidya and Shalini, for joining me from India's 3 big cities. Meanwhile...
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.